Hello again, this is Colin with the Detroit Lions podcast, and I put the Lions draft hat on that everybody in the Slack seemed to love so much, because today we're going to get to the big one. Aidan Hutchinson, Tavon Walker, and Kayvon Thibodeauz, and one of these guys will be wearing this hat come draft night. Let's jump into it. So, Aidan Hutchinson, University of Michigan, everybody around Detroit knows this. 6'7", 260 pounds, combine, killed it. 4'7", 440, 6'7", 3-cone, which is comparable to slot wide receiver. Calvin Austin III, we talked about, All-American track athlete, one of the fastest wide receivers in the draft. He was 6'5", 3-cone. So, I mean, that shows where that burst in speed for Hutch is at. 36-inch vertical and a 9'9" broad jump. He's going to be a power edge, your prototypical 4-3 DN, but he can line up everywhere across the defensive front. Reps of him at nose tackle, 0 tech, 3 tech, 5 tech. They had him standing up this past year at Michigan. He's got great explosion out of a 2 or a 3-point stance, so none of that will be an issue for him. He used his power and outstanding hands to just win easily on a rep-on-rep basis at Michigan. He's not going to be a dominant speed rusher, but he understands angles really well and how to use them, and then uses an elite acceleration and burst to get the edge. When he can't, he's got outstanding counters and has the ability to get lean and bend and work his way back inside through gaps. His best trait, though, is probably his hands. They're unbelievably powerful and strong. He uses them so well, and he's got a variety of pass rush moves and counters. He's very stout against the run, sets the edge extremely well, and he's got great containability. He's relentless, he's high effort, he's high motor, he's a born leader, all these things that we've heard about and love and what you want out of a top draft pick, especially for, these Dan Campbell led Lions. Converts from speed to power so well. He's got the upper body and power that overwhelms blockers, but at the same time, his feet are so agile and quick. Something that showed up, on film a little bit, his bend isn't as elite as somebody as Tib, but he's just so well balanced. He's so flexible. He gets lean so well that, for somebody his size, that's not really an issue. Something that we also saw leading up to the draft process was that arm length that people talk about. 32 1/8 arm length measured at the combine. NFL threshold is really around 33 inches. He'd be the first edge defender since Vic Beasley, taken in the first round with under 33-inch arms. But obviously, he played at such a high level at Power 5, playing against great competition. It shouldn't be an issue. Guys like Melvin Ingram were 31.5-inch arms, and he's had multiple double-digit sack seasons. So definitely not an issue. If it was more an issue, we wouldn't be talking about him as the consensus number 1 pick at this point. So next, edge defender Tavon Walker out of Georgia. Super hot name, rising up draft boards like crazy after the combine, being talked about as 1, 2 in that range. So 4'5", 140, 35.5-inch vert, 10'3" broad jump, 6'8", 9'3" cone. Absolute killer combine. He's going to be a perfect fit as almost like a 3-4 DN, but he's so versatile. He can line up everywhere along the line of scrimmage, 1 tech, 3 tech, 5 tech, edge. Biggest thing I think we should just get into right now is, that pass rush production. That's what everybody talks about. Only 6 sacks in college, playing on, a crazy dominant defense where he wasn't really asked to be that pass rusher. He was asked to fill, a different role. So, you got to talk about it. They got Wyatt, Davis, Tyndall, Walker, Dean, all in the front 7. So that defense is absolutely loaded. One of the things, too, he gets knocked on is that pass rush win rate. It was around 10% is what they said, where Tib and Hutch were, in the lower 30s. So that's something to consider as well. But as far as all the tools and traits, I mean, they're all there. We talked about the combine numbers and just the way he moves for his size. Absolutely crazy. We saw it at the combine with the on the field drills with his ability to backpedal and change directions. He didn't look awkward one bit. The 40 of 4.51 was the quickest ever for somebody over 270 pounds. He's explosive. He's got an extremely elite and explosive get off. He can win by getting the edge or also working back inside. Typically wins with speed or speed to power, but he's got to develop his pass rush moves and counters a lot more for the NFL. Oftentimes he just bullies offensive tackles and walks them back with power. That's going to come to him as he gets coached up at the NFL level. He's got extremely violent and powerful hands, super high football IQ, and this showed with his ability to play in a variety of roles in a very complex defense at Georgia. Weaknesses, he's still developing. He's very raw. He's got to learn how to set up and execute his pass rushes a little bit more. As we talked about, he wins with speed or power. He's got to work on his counters, but he's got such freaky length and speed, combination size. It's truly very, very rare, the size and speed that this guy has. And the last edge rusher we're going to talk about today, out of Oregon, very polarizing guy, Kayvon Thibodeauz, 6'4", 254, 4.58 40, 27 reps on the bench, the only two things he did on the combine, and then he left. 9/11 broad jump at his pro day, and then a 7.23 three cone, which isn't great. 33 and 1/8 inch arms. He's going to be a dominant outside speed rusher, perfect 3-4 outside linebacker, but has the ability and has shown to be a 4-3 DN. Just has to add a little bit of size, but he does everything that this position requires. Definitely lighter and more explosive as compared to the previous two. Unreal dip and bend around the edge. He gets skinny so easily. A little bit more versatile than the other two in comparison to coverage drops and replacement blitzes. Amazing first step and explosion, and he's got very, very heavy hands and a great ability to use his hands and counter with either a rip, a stab, or a swim move. Very quick feet, and he's shown the ability to counter inside also. He's a very cerebral pass rusher, sets up blockers, and has talked about this for future pass rush moves he's going to do later on in the day. Almost as a chess player, he's talked about this. He's an avid chess player, and he likens it to that, where he's setting up his next move as the game goes. Very strong also, 27 reps at the combine with great length. Uses this really well to keep offensive tackles off of him, and will develop his ability to, disengage more when they get a hold of him at the NFL level. Great in the run game. He's shown good ability to fight through blocks and locate the ball carrier. His speed and pursuit angles allow him to, chase down ball carriers along the line of scrimmage, and he's pretty good with containment on the edge. He's going to be, and he's shown to be an absolute game wrecker where you have to know where he is at all times. There's a game against Colorado this year. It was one of his worst pass rush grades per PFF. But the average time to throw for the University of Colorado when he was on the field was 2 seconds. And when he was taken off the field, it was 3.75 seconds. So that shows the type of impact that he has on opposing teams, where they have to know where he is, or if he's on the field, and they scheme around that at all times. Same against Washington. This number I'm not so sure of. I read it back in the fall, but it was something along the lines of like 1.7 when he was on the field and 2.7 when he was off the field. But those numbers for when they played Colorado, those are exact numbers. I was able to locate those. He's said to be a great kid. He's always looking to learn and better himself. This was his previous coach at Oregon said, Mario Cristobal, and they said he's on par with Sewell as being, a good character kid, and they love Granted, that's coming from, within his previous college, but they definitely have, Sewell who they can go to and ask about him with these character concerns that are brought about so much. He's got to improve his balance a little bit more around the edge. There's some reps where, he is super bendy, but he loses his footing a little bit and gets pushed around, a little bit at times. But this will be adjusted to at the NFL, like we just talked about with his balance. He's just got to focus on leveraging and the conditioning. One of the weaknesses, people talk about it, his confidence is taken as arrogance and rubs people the wrong way. And then just to, his off the field stuff with building his brand and, choosing to go to Oregon because of the Nike connections over Alabama or an SEC team. His cryptocurrency that he's dealing with, leaving the combine early. There's plays on tape where he gives up. You see surfacing all over Twitter. That's something that they're just gonna have to do their homework on. They sent 7 guys out to Oregon. They had him into Detroit, so the Lions are doing their due diligence if this is gonna be the guy. So that's it for the edge rushers today. Like I said, I expect it to be one of these guys with the pick unless they deal out somehow. But that's it. It's draft season, guys. Go Lions.